Poor trash like you should have stayed in the hood where you belong. Natalie Foster stood over the table, wine glass tilted, red liquid splashed across white silk. How did you sneak in here? Tessa looked up. Her voice came soft. I paid for my ticket. With what? Food stamps? Natalie's laugh was sharp. She turned to the man beside her. Greg, is this really your wife? God, I see why you came running to me. Gregory Hayes smirked. Tessa, maybe you should just go. You're embarrassing yourself. Wine dripped onto Italian marble. Phones lifted around them, recording everything. Natalie leaned down, her face inches from Tessa's. People like you don't belong in places like this. Wrong color, wrong class, wrong everything. Tessa stayed silent. Her hands rested flat on the wine-soaked tablecloth. Have you ever seen someone humiliate the wrong person? 3 months earlier. Morning sunlight filtered through kitchen blinds. Tessa Bennett sat at her laptop, coffee steaming beside her. The house was quiet, small. A 2-bedroom suburban home with beige walls and secondhand furniture. Her screen showed a video call. 4 faces stared back at her from expensive offices. The Singapore acquisition needs another quarter, Tessa said. Her tone was calm but absolute. Their labor practices don't meet our standards. A man in a suit nodded. Understood, Ms. Bennett. We'll table it. She ended the call, closed the laptop, stretched her shoulders. The kitchen smelled like burnt toast. Dishes sat in the sink from last night. A grocery store circular lay on the counter, items circled in red pen. She'd clipped coupons before her meeting. Her phone buzzed. A text from her father. Board meeting went well. Miss you. She smiled. Typed back, Miss you too, Dad. Tessa stood and walked to the closet. Her wardrobe held simple pieces, cotton shirts, dark jeans, 1 black dress for occasions, nothing designer, nothing flashy. She'd dressed this way since college. Her car sat in the driveway, a 2018 Honda Accord with a small dent in the rear bumper. The interior smelled like vanilla air freshener. Fast food receipts littered the passenger seat. She drove to the grocery store, pushed a metal cart through fluorescent-lit aisles, compared prices on chicken breasts, chose the store brand over name brand. The cashier smiled at her. She smiled back. You saved $12 with coupons today, the cashier said. Every bit helps. Tessa loaded bags into her trunk. This was her life. By choice. Nobody at the grocery store knew her last name meant anything. Nobody at the gas station recognized her face. She was just another woman in her 30s, living modestly, trying to get by. That's exactly what she wanted. 6 years ago, she'd met Gregory Hayes at a coffee shop. He was charming, attentive. He'd asked what she did for work. Consulting, she'd said. Not a lie, just not the whole truth. He told her about his marketing job, his dreams of moving up, his frustration with colleagues who had family money and connections. I want to earn everything myself, he'd said. No shortcuts. She'd loved that about him. They dated for 8 months, got married at a small courthouse ceremony. She wore a dress that cost $200. He wore a suit he already owned. She never told him about Bennett Global Technologies, never mentioned the trust fund, never explained that her consulting work meant advising her father's $87 billion company. She wanted him to love her, not her money. For the first 3 years, it worked. They were happy. He complained sometimes about their modest lifestyle, but she thought it was normal marriage stress. Then things changed. Gregory started working late. His phone was always face down. He took calls in the other room. When she asked questions, he got defensive. Why are you always so suspicious? He'd snap. She wasn't suspicious. She was observant. Last month, she'd found a receipt in his jacket pocket. A jewelry store. $15,000 for a diamond bracelet. Their joint account had maybe $3,000. Where did $15,000 come from? She'd checked their credit cards, found a new one she didn't know about. Hotels, restaurants, flowers, all charged to this secret card. She hired a private investigator, got photos within 2 days. Gregory with a blonde woman, holding hands at an upscale steakhouse, kissing outside a hotel. The woman wore the $15,000 bracelet. The investigator's report included a name, Natalie Foster, 29. Worked at Gregory's firm. Recently divorced from a wealthy older man, known for expensive tastes and social climbing, also known for something else. The investigator had pulled Natalie's social media history, screenshots of deleted posts, comments about diversity hires ruining the workplace, complaints about affirmative action taking jobs from qualified people. One post from 2 years ago. Why do we keep lowering standards just to hit quotas? Tessa had stared at those screenshots for a long time. She could have confronted Gregory immediately, could have filed for divorce, could have revealed everything. But she wanted to see how far he'd go, how much he truly valued her. The charity gala invitation arrived 3 weeks later, the annual spring event at Riverside Country Club. Tessa had attended for years, always donating quietly through her father's foundation. This year, Gregory said he couldn't go. Work conflict. She went alone. And that's where everything came crashing down. The country club terrace sparkled under afternoon sun. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, women in designer dresses, men in tailored suits. Tessa arrived at 2 o'clock. She wore her black dress, simple heels, small earrings. She'd pulled her hair into a neat bun. The hostess checked her name against the guest list. "Ms. Bennett, welcome back. Your usual table?" "Please." Her usual table sat in the corner, quiet, away from the main crowd, perfect for observing without being observed. She ordered sparkling water, picked up the auction program, flipped through pages of vacation packages, jewelry, art pieces. One item caught her eye. Educational Scholarship Fund. Starting bid $50,000. She made a note on her program. Music drifted from speakers. Classical. Soft enough for conversation. The terrace held maybe 80 people, donors, board members, local business owners. Tessa recognized several faces. A state senator, a hospital administrator, the owner of the city's largest car dealership. None of them recognized her. She'd made sure of that over the years. She pulled out her tablet, checked emails, reviewed a contract proposal, sent 3 messages to her team. At 2:30, movement near the entrance caught her attention. Gregory walked in. Tessa's fingers stopped on the tablet screen. He wore a navy suit. New, expensive looking. His hair was freshly cut. He was laughing at something. The woman beside him wore red, a tight dress that probably cost more than Tessa's entire wardrobe. Blonde hair in perfect waves. The diamond bracelet on her wrist caught sunlight like a disco ball. Natalie Foster. Tessa set down her tablet slowly. Gregory's face went pale when he saw her. He stopped mid-step. Natalie noticed his reaction and followed his gaze. Her eyes landed on Tessa. A smile spread across her face. Not friendly. Predatory. She grabbed Gregory's arm and steered him toward the bar. They ordered champagne. 2 glasses. Natalie's laugh carried across the terrace, too loud, too performative. Tessa returned to her tablet. Her heart rate hadn't changed. She'd expected this possibility. 10 minutes passed. Natalie whispered something to Gregory. He shook his head. She whispered again, more insistent. Drained her champagne glass. Grabbed a second from a passing waiter. Then she started walking, directly toward Tessa's table. Gregory followed a few steps behind, his face tight. Natalie's heels clicked on marble. The sound drew attention. Nearby conversations quieted. She stopped at Tessa's table, looked down. Her smile was venomous. Oh my God, her voice carried. Greg, is that what do you call her? Your wife? She said wife like it was something dirty. Tessa looked up, met Natalie's eyes, said nothing. Honey, this event is $500 per plate. Natalie gestured around the terrace. Did you sneak in through the kitchen? A woman at the next table gasped softly. Phones started appearing. Tessa closed her tablet, folded her hands on the table. I have a ticket. A ticket, Natalie laughed. Sweetie, you can't even afford the valet parking here. She picked up Tessa's auction program, flipped through it. Her eyes widened mockingly when she saw the scholarship fund marked. $50,000? She showed the page to Gregory. Baby, look at this. She was going to bid on this. With what money? Her welfare check? Gregory shifted uncomfortably. Natalie, maybe we should... Should what? Let her embarrass herself? Natalie tossed the program back onto the table. Greg told me all about you, about your little consulting job. What do you actually do? File papers? Answer phones? Tessa's voice stayed level. I do strategic planning. Strategic planning? Natalie repeated it like a joke. That's adorable. Is that what we're calling unemployment now? More phones lifted. A small crowd was forming. People weren't even pretending not to watch anymore. Tessa stood slowly, gathered her tablet and purse. Natalie blocked her path. Where are you going? Back to your sad little apartment? I'm going to another table. No, no, no. Natalie's face was flushed from champagne and attention. You came here to embarrass Greg, to remind him of his mistake. Well, let me tell you something. She grabbed Tessa's auction program again, held it up for everyone to see. This woman marked down items worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. She actually thought she could bid on these things. Natalie's voice got louder. Do you know how pathetic that is? Coming to events you can't afford, pretending to be something you're not? Tessa reached for her program. Natalie pulled it away. Greg has been carrying you for 6 years. 6 years of supporting someone who contributes nothing. Do you know what that makes you? The terrace was silent now. 80 people watching. Dozens of phones recording. Tessa looked at Gregory. He stood 3 feet away, hands in his pockets. Are you going to let her do this? His jaw clenched. Tessa, you shouldn't have come here. This isn't really your scene. Chki! Something flickered in Tessa's eyes. Pain, maybe. Or recognition. My scene, she repeated quietly. These people have real money, Gregory continued. Real careers. You work from home doing whatever it is you do. It's not the same. Natalie beamed. She'd won him over completely. Exactly. She turned back to Tessa. You're basically a kept woman. A charity case. Greg has been your welfare program, and you don't even have the decency to be grateful. She stepped closer. Her perfume was expensive, overwhelming. Let me tell you what you are. You're poor trash who got lucky that a decent man felt sorry for you. But that luck just ran out. Tessa's hands tightened on her purse strap. You're drunk. I'm honest. Natalie's smile was cruel. Someone needs to say what everyone's thinking. You don't belong here. You don't belong with Greg. You don't belong anywhere near people like us. She waved her hand, the diamond bracelet flashing. Look at you, cheap dress, cheap shoes. Probably drove here in some beat-up car. Everything about you screams poor. A gray-haired woman at a nearby table stood. Young lady, that's enough. Oh, please. Natalie didn't even look at her. We're all thinking it. I'm just saying it out loud. This is a charity event for people who can actually afford to give, not for people who need the charity. Tessa tried to step around her. Natalie moved again, blocking. Poor trash like you should have stayed in the hood where you belong. The words hung in the air. Several people stood from their tables now. The club manager was pushing through the crowd. Natalie grabbed her wine glass from a nearby table. Red wine, nearly full. "Let me help you understand your place." She tilted the glass. Wine splashed across Tessa's dress, soaked into the fabric, dripped onto the auction papers on the table. Gasps, shocked voices, camera flashes. Tessa stood perfectly still. Wine ran down her dress in dark red streams, pooled at her feet. Natalie's face was triumphant. "That's better. Now you look like what you are. Stained, ruined, trash." The club manager arrived. "Ma'am, I need you to step back. I'm a platinum member." Natalie pulled out her membership card. "She's the one who doesn't belong. Check your guest list. She probably used a fake name." Tessa finally moved. She set her purse on the table, pulled out her phone, typed something quickly. "What are you doing?" Natalie laughed. "Calling an Uber? Can you even afford that?" Tessa looked at Gregory one last time. 6 years. I gave you 6 years to love me for who I am, not what I have." His face was unreadable. "You failed." She turned to Natalie. "You've made your position very clear. Thank you for that." "Oh, don't act dignified now." Natalie's voice dripped with contempt. "You're standing there covered in wine, humiliated in front of everyone. You're nothing. You have nothing. You are nothing." Tessa picked up her purse, started walking toward the exit. Natalie called after her, loud enough for the whole terrace to hear. "That's right, run away! Back to whatever Section 8 housing you crawled out of. And Greg, baby, don't worry, you're free now. Free from this welfare case." Tessa stopped at the terrace entrance. Didn't turn around. 48 hours, she said quietly. "What?" Natalie laughed. "You have 48 hours to enjoy this feeling?" "Or what? You'll sue me?" Natalie's voice was mocking. "With what lawyer? A public defender?" Tessa looked back over her shoulder. Her face was calm. "Something like that." She walked out. Behind her, Natalie raised her champagne glass. "To trash taking itself out." Several people joined her toast, Gregory among them. The phones kept recording. Natalie wasn't finished. She turned to face the crowd, wine-stained glass still in her hand. Her cheeks were flushed, eyes bright with champagne and adrenaline. "Can you believe some people?" Her voice carried across the terrace. "Come to charity events they can't afford, probably hoping to find another man to leech off." A few uncomfortable laughs. Most people stood silent, unsure. The club manager stepped forward. "Ms. Foster, perhaps we should..." "Should what? Apologize?" She waved him off. "I'm a platinum member here. I pay $30,000 a year for this membership. She crashed this event." "Ma'am, Ms. Bennett is on the guest list." "Then your list is wrong." Natalie turned back to Gregory. "Baby, tell them. Tell them how she's been living off you for 6 years. Gregory's face was tight. He nodded slowly. "She doesn't really work. Not like a real job." "See?" Natalie's voice got louder. "No real job, no real money. Just a parasite who found a host." An elderly woman in pearls spoke up. "Young lady, this is completely inappropriate." "Inappropriate? You know what's inappropriate?" Natalie pointed toward where Tessa had exited. "People like her thinking they deserve to be in spaces like this, thinking they belong with us." The woman's face hardened. "People like her? Oh, don't play dumb." Natalie drained her champagne, grabbed another glass from a passing waiter. "Affirmative action marriages, that's what I call them. A certain type of woman who knows she can't compete on her own merit, so she finds a white man with a decent job and clings on." The terrace went silent. Deadly silent. A black couple at a corner table stood up, started gathering their things. Natalie noticed. "Oh, I'm sorry, did I offend you? Truth hurts, doesn't it?" "Natalie." Gregory's voice was low. "That's enough. Don't go soft on me now. She turned on him, finger jabbing his chest. You told me she's been holding you back for years, dragging you down with her poverty mindset, her welfare mentality. Gregory said nothing, just looked at his shoes. The club manager tried again. Ms. Foster, I really must insist. You must insist on what? That I be quiet? She laughed, high and sharp. I pay good money to be here. I have every right to speak my mind, and my mind says that woman didn't belong here. Wrong zip code, wrong tax bracket, wrong... She paused, looked around at the watching faces, smiled. Wrong color. Gasps. Multiple people stood. The black couple was already walking toward the exit. A man in a suit called out, That's a hate crime. Someone call the police. Hate crime? Natalie's face was red now. For telling the truth? Everyone was thinking it. I just said it out loud. Look at her. She clearly doesn't belong in a place like this. The club manager pulled out his radio. Security to the main terrace. Now. Oh, please. Natalie pulled out her membership card again, waved it like a weapon. I'm platinum. She's nothing. If anyone should leave, it's her. Oh wait, she already did. Back to whatever ghetto apartment she lives in. Gregory finally spoke. Natalie, we should go. Why? So she wins? Natalie grabbed his arm. No, I'm not letting some gold-digging welfare queen ruin my afternoon. She turned to the crowd. Her voice got louder, more theatrical. You all know I'm right. We work hard for our money. We earn our places in society. And then people like her come along, expecting handouts, expecting to be treated like equals when they've done nothing to deserve it. An older man stood. Young woman, you need to stop talking. Right now. Or what? You'll ask me to leave? She laughed. I belong here. She didn't. That's just facts. 2 security guards arrived, large men in dark suits. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Are you kidding me? Natalie's voice hit a shriek. She's the one who caused a scene. She's the one who doesn't belong. Ma'am, do you know who I am? Do you know how much money I spend here? She turned to Gregory. Tell them, baby. Tell them we're members. Gregory held up his hands. I'm just a guest. Natalie has the membership. Her face twisted. Just a guest? You brought me here to... She caught herself, forced a smile. We're together. As a couple. That woman in there is his mistake, his past. We're his future. One security guard touched her elbow gently. Ma'am, please come with us to discuss this privately. She jerked away. Don't touch me. Do you know what she did? She came here to spy on us, to ruin our day. This is harassment. Ma'am, multiple witnesses say you poured wine on another guest because she needed to be put in her place. Natalie's voice was ice. Someone had to show her where she stands, at the bottom, where people like her belong. The guard's face hardened. That's assault, ma'am. Assault? She laughed. It's a lesson, a reality check. Poor trash like her needs to understand there are levels to society, and she's at the very bottom. Phones were still recording. Every word, every gesture. The second guard spoke into his radio. We need management here, now. A woman in a business suit arrived. The club's general manager. Her face was professionally neutral, but her eyes were angry. Ms. Foster, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Excuse me? Natalie's jaw dropped. I'm a platinum member. Your membership is under review as of this moment. The manager's voice was crisp. You've assaulted another guest, made racist statements, created a hostile environment. Our club has a zero-tolerance policy. Zero tolerance? For what? Honesty? Natalie's voice climbed higher. That woman didn't belong here, and everyone knows it. She's poor. She's black. She crashed an event for wealthy white people. That's enough. The manager cut her off. "Security, please escort Ms. Foster from the premises." "You can't do this!" Natalie looked around wildly. "Greg, do something. Tell them they're making a mistake." Gregory took a step back. "I think you should probably just go, Natalie." Her mouth fell open. "Are you serious? I did this for you. I defended you. I got rid of your mistake of a wife." "You embarrassed me." His voice was flat. "You made a scene. You said things that—" He shook his head. "I can't be associated with this." "Associated with this?" She stared at him. "You told me she was nobody. You said she was holding you back. You wanted her gone." "I didn't want this." He gestured at the crowd, the phones, the security guards. "This is insane." "Insane?" Her voice went shrill. "You're calling me insane now? After everything?" The security guards moved in. Each took an arm. "Don't touch me!" She tried to pull away. "I'll sue this club. I'll sue all of you. You can't treat a platinum member like this." They started walking her toward the exit. She fought every step. "This is discrimination!" she screamed. "You're kicking me out for telling the truth, for defending standards, for keeping out people who don't belong." The crowd parted. People stepped back, faces disgusted. Natalie's voice echoed across the terrace as they pulled her away. "She's nothing. She has nothing. She'll always be nothing, and all of you know it." The doors closed behind her. The terrace fell silent. Gregory stood alone, every eye on him. The general manager approached. "Mr. Hayes, I'm afraid I need to ask you to leave as well." "What? Why?" His face went pale. "I didn't do anything. You brought her here. You stood by while she assaulted another guest. You corroborated her statements." The manager's voice was ice. "You're not welcome here." "But she's the one who—" He looked around desperately. "I didn't say those things. She did. You said Ms. Bennett didn't belong here. Multiple witnesses heard you." The manager gestured to the exit. "Please leave voluntarily or security will assist you." Gregory's hands shook. "This is a mistake. A huge mistake." "The mistake was already made, Mr. Hayes." The manager turned away. "Don't come back." He walked out, head down, while dozens of phones tracked his exit. The gray-haired woman who'd objected earlier spoke to her companion. "Did you get all of that on video?" "Every second," her companion said. "I'm sending it to my daughter. She works at Channel 7. "Good. People need to see this. They need to know what still happens." Around the terrace, guests returned to their tables. Conversations buzzed. Shocked, angry, disgusted. The auction continued, but no one was paying attention to art and vacation packages anymore. They were all checking their phones, uploading videos, typing furiously. Within 20 minutes, the first video hit social media. Within an hour, it had 10,000 views. By evening, it would have millions. And Tessa Bennett's 48 hours had just begun. 48 hours later. Gregory turned his key in the front door. The lock clicked. He pushed it open. Silence. "Tessa?" No answer. He stepped inside. The living room was empty. Not just empty of people. Empty of everything. The couch was gone. The coffee table. The bookshelf. The photos on the walls had vanished, leaving pale rectangles on the paint. His stomach dropped. He ran to the bedroom. The closet door hung open. Her side was completely bare. No dresses, no shoes, nothing. The bathroom mirror had a sticky note. Her handwriting, just an address, Sullivan and Partners Law Firm, downtown. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. "Mr. Hayes?" A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. "Yes?" "This is Amanda Sullivan from Sullivan and Partners. I represent your wife in divorce proceedings." His legs felt weak. He sat on the bed. Divorce? We haven't even talked. All communication goes through me now. Papers were filed this morning. Wait, I need to talk to Tessa. I need to explain, Mr. Hayes, my retainer alone is $150,000. Amanda's voice was steel. Mrs. Bennett paid it with a personal check from her checking account. Would you like me to continue? The room spun. Her checking account? Tessa doesn't have that kind of... She has substantially more than that, Mr. Hayes. You're being sued for adultery, emotional distress, and fraud. You spent $47,000 of marital funds on your affair. We have receipts. Gregory's mouth went dry. How did you... Mrs. Bennett is very thorough. I suggest you hire an attorney. A good one. She hung up. He stared at his phone. $150,000. Where did Tessa get that money? His phone rang again. His boss. Gregory, get to the office. Now. 20 minutes later, Gregory walked into the conference room. His boss sat at the head of the table, face red, jaw clenched. Natalie was already there. Her makeup was smudged. She looked like she hadn't slept. Sit down, his boss growled. Gregory sat. His boss threw a tablet onto the table. It skidded to a stop in front of them. The screen showed a news article. The headline, Tech Billionaire's Daughter Humiliated at Charity Event. Below it, the country club video. 4 million views. Gregory's blood turned to ice. That woman you two humiliated? Tessa Bennett, daughter of Lawrence Bennett, founder and CEO of Bennett Global Technologies. The room tilted. That's impossible, Natalie whispered. She's nobody. She drives a beat-up Honda. She's worth $19 billion. His boss slammed his hand on the table. Personally, Gregory couldn't breathe. $19 billion. BGT is our largest client, was our largest client. They just terminated their contract. 40% of our revenue. Gone. His boss stood. Lawrence Bennett sent a personal email. Said he won't do business with any firm that employs people who racially harassed his daughter. I didn't harass anyone, Gregory tried. That was Natalie. You stood there and agreed with her. Multiple witnesses, dozens of videos. You said Tessa didn't belong there. I didn't know who she was. That makes it worse. You treated your own wife like trash because you thought she was poor. Natalie's voice shook. This has to be a mistake. Look at how she lived. The car. The clothes. She chose to live that way. His boss pulled up another article, testing whether people would value her for herself or her money. He looked at Gregory. Congratulations. You failed the test. Sir, please. You're both fired, effective immediately. Security is waiting outside. He gathered his papers. And good luck finding work anywhere in this industry. Your names are all over social media. Natalie stood, hands shaking. You can't do this. I have rent. I have bills. Should have thought about that before you dumped wine on a billionaire. He walked to the door. Oh, and Natalie? Mrs. Bennett's legal team filed a lawsuit against you this morning. $10 million in damages. Her face went white. $10 million? I don't have... That's your problem now. He left. Security guards appeared in the doorway. No! Natalie backed up. This isn't happening. Gregory sat frozen. His phone buzzed. A text from his mother. Did you really leave Lawrence Bennett's daughter? Are you insane? Another buzz. His father. Call me immediately. Another buzz. His brother. Dude, what the hell did you do? The security guard stepped forward. Time to go. Natalie was crying now, mascara running down her face. She's a billionaire. She doesn't need the money. Why is she doing this? Gregory finally understood. He stood slowly. Because it's not about the money, he said quietly. It never was. The guards escorted them out, past cubicles of former colleagues who wouldn't meet their eyes. Through the lobby, out to the street where protesters had already gathered. Signs waved. Racism has consequences. Poor trash? More like rich karma. Cameras flashed. Gregory walked to his car. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing. He sat in the driver's seat, hands shaking. 48 hours ago, he'd stood on that terrace feeling superior, feeling free. Now he understood. He'd been living with $19 billion and never knew it, because she'd wanted him to love her, not her money. And he'd failed. His phone rang again. Amanda Sullivan. He answered. Mr. Hayes, we need to discuss the divorce settlement. Mrs. Bennett is pursuing a fault-based divorce. In this state, that means asset division heavily favors the wronged party. What does that mean? It means you're going to lose everything, Mr. Hayes. She hung up. Gregory sat outside his former workplace, unemployed, being sued, about to lose everything, all because he'd mistaken quiet dignity for weakness. The video went viral in 6 hours. By midnight, 8 million views. By morning, 15 million. Hashtags exploded. Poor trash. Hash karma's real. Bennett daughter. Hash racism has consequences. News outlets picked it up. Tech heiress humiliated at charity event. Billionaire's daughter attacked for looking poor. Natalie's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Not with support, with rage. Her Instagram had 200,000 new comments, all of them furious. You're disgusting. Hope you lose everything. Racist trash got what she deserved. She deleted the app, then Twitter, then Facebook. It didn't matter. Screenshots lived forever. Her apartment building's lobby filled with protesters by Tuesday morning, 40 people with signs, chanting. The building manager called. Ms. Foster, you're violating your lease, creating a public disturbance. I'm not doing anything. They came here. Find somewhere else to live. 30 days. He hung up. Natalie sat on her couch, shaking. Her phone buzzed with a new email. Sullivan and Partners law firm. She opened it. Legal notice, civil lawsuit, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, civil rights violation, damages sought, $10 million. Her vision blurred. She had maybe 30,000 in savings. She called the number on the letter. Sullivan and Partners. I need to speak to someone about a lawsuit against me, from Tessa Bennett. Hold music. Then a man's voice. Ms. Foster, I'm Daniel Cross. Mrs. Bennett's team asked me to expect your call. This is a mistake. I was drunk. Ms. Foster, we have video from 6 different angles. Clear audio. 43 witness statements. You said, poor trash like you should have stayed in the hood where you belong. I was upset. You committed assault and made racist statements in public. We're filing the suit. See you in court. He hung up. Natalie screamed, threw her phone across the room. It cracked against the wall. Her doorbell rang. She looked through the peephole. A man in a suit holding papers. Process server. She didn't answer. He slid the papers under the door and left. Official notice, court date in 6 months. Her phone rang from across the room, still working despite the crack. Her mother. She crawled to it, answered. Natalie Marie Foster, what have you done? Mom, I just saw the video. Everyone in my bridge club saw it. Do you know how humiliated I am? I didn't know who she was. That makes it worse. You said those things to a stranger. You poured wine on her. Her mother's voice cracked. I raised you better than this. But Mom, don't call me until you fix this. If you can fix this. She hung up. Natalie sat on the floor, surrounded by designer purses and shoes she could no longer afford, wearing the $15,000 bracelet that had cost her everything. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hi, Natalie. Channel 7. We'd love to interview you about the incident. Delete. Another text. This is TMZ. Running a story on you tomorrow. Care to comment? Delete. Another. You racist bitch. Hope you rot. Delete. 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 She pulled her knees to her chest and cried. Across town, Gregory sat in his car outside his parents' house. He'd been there for an hour. Couldn't make himself go inside. His phone showed 73 missed calls, 46 texts, 200 unread emails, most of them angry. Can't believe you did that to your wife. You're a disgrace. Never contact me again. His father appeared at the front door, gestured for him to come in. Gregory got out slowly, walked up the driveway like a man heading to execution. His father's face was stone. Your mother is in the living room. She's been crying for 2 days. Dad, I can explain. Explain what? That you cheated? That you let your mistress humiliate her? That your wife is worth $19 billion and you threw her away? Gregory's voice was small. I didn't know. That's the problem. You didn't know because you never bothered to really know her. They walked inside. His mother sat on the couch, red eyes, tissue in hand. She looked at him, didn't speak. Gregory sat across from them. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, his father said. You lost a good woman, a woman who loved you enough to hide her wealth just to see if you'd love her back. I did love her. You loved what you thought she was, poor, dependent, beneath you. His father's voice was hard. The moment you thought she was nobody, you treated her like nobody. Gregory had no answer. His mother finally spoke. You need a lawyer, and prepare to lose everything. Mom, I'm not helping you. Your father's not helping you. You made this bed. She stood and left the room. Gregory sat in silence. Outside, the sun was setting. His phone buzzed again. News alert. Gregory Hayes and Natalie Foster fired after viral video. The consequences were just beginning. Detective Raymond Clark watched the video for the 5th time. He sat in his office at the Civil Rights Division. The country club footage played on his computer screen. He'd received 47 complaints in 3 days. He picked up his phone, called the district attorney. We need to talk about the Bennett case. 2 hours later, he sat across from DA Patricia Morrison. She was watching the video now. Her jaw tightened. How many witnesses? She asked. 83 at the event. 43 gave statements, all corroborating. Physical evidence? 6 phone videos, security footage, audio is crystal clear. He pulled out a folder. And there's more. Ms. Foster has a history. Patricia looked up. What kind of history? 2 complaints at her previous job, both from black colleagues, settled quietly with NDAs. He slid papers across. She called one a diversity hire who didn't deserve promotion, told another to go back to the hood. Patricia's expression hardened. Pattern of behavior. Gets worse. We pulled her social media, private accounts she thought were deleted. He showed screenshots, posts about affirmative action, complaints about diversity initiatives, links to groups with white nationalist rhetoric. This wasn't a one-time thing, Raymond said. This is who she is. Patricia closed the folder. File charges. Hate crime harassment. The charges came down on Friday. Natalie was at a coffee shop when her phone rang. Her attorney. A public defender. Ms. Foster, the DA just filed criminal charges. Her coffee cup shook. Criminal? I thought this was just civil. That too. This is separate. The state is prosecuting you for hate crime harassment. Hate crime? Her voice rose. Other customers looked over. I didn't commit a hate crime. You assaulted someone while making racist statements in public. That's textbook hate crime. Papers rustled. Maximum sentence is 3 years, plus fines, plus community service. 3 years? She stood, knocking over her coffee. Brown liquid spread across the table. I can't go to prison. Then we work on a plea deal. But Ms. Foster, with your history and the video evidence, we don't have much leverage. She hung up, ran to the bathroom, threw up. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Sarah Williams was writing. She'd been following the story since the video dropped. Now she had an exclusive, an interview with Tessa Bennett. They met at Bennett Global Technologies headquarters, 53rd floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Tessa wore a simple blue dress, no jewelry except small earrings. Sarah set up her recorder. "Thank you for agreeing to talk." "Thank you for telling the story right," Tessa said. "Why did you hide your identity?" Tessa smiled slightly. "I wanted to know if I could be loved for who I am, not what I have. My father built an empire, but I wanted to build my own life." "And Gregory?" "I thought he was different. For 3 years, he seemed happy with our modest life. Then things changed." She paused. "I realize now he always saw me as less than. The money just made it obvious." "What about that day at the country club?" "I knew he was having an affair. I went to that event to see if he'd defend me, if he'd choose me." Her voice stayed steady. "He answered that question clearly. People are calling you a hero." Tessa shook her head. "I'm not a hero. I had resources most people don't have. The real story is the women who face this every day without those resources." Sarah leaned forward. "Tell me about the Dignity Initiative." $500 million. A fund to support survivors of discrimination who can't afford legal representation. We'll provide attorneys, investigators, court costs, whatever they need. Why? Because justice shouldn't only be available to billionaires. Tessa's eyes were fierce. What happened to me was wrong, but I could fight back. Most people can't. This levels the playing field. The article, published on Monday, went viral immediately. By Tuesday, Tessa had received 300 applications, stories of discrimination, harassment, injustice. She read every single one. 6 months later, the courtroom was packed. Civil trial. Natalie Foster versus Tessa Bennett. Media filled the back rows. Cameras lined the walls. Natalie sat at the defendant's table. She'd lost weight. Her hair was dull. She wore a cheap borrowed suit. The diamond bracelet was gone, sold to pay rent. Tessa sat with her legal team, Amanda Sullivan and 3 associates, all carrying thick folders. Judge Patricia Morrison entered, a black woman in her 60s. "All rise." The trial lasted 3 days. Amanda presented the video evidence first, all 6 angles. The jury watched Natalie dump wine, heard every word. "Poor trash like you should have stayed in the hood where you belong." Several jurors flinched. Then came the witnesses, guest after guest describing what they saw, the humiliation, the racial slurs. Natalie's attorney argued intoxication, emotional distress. It didn't work. On day 2, Amanda presented Natalie's social media history. Every deleted post, every racist comment, every link to extremist groups. The jury's faces grew harder. Expert witnesses testified about racial harassment, its psychological impact. On day 3, Natalie took the stand. It was a disaster. "Ms. Foster, why did you target Mrs. Bennett specifically?" Amanda asked. "I was upset about the affair." "But you were having an affair with a married man." "Why were you upset?" Natalie stammered. "I thought he was leaving her." "What did he say about Mrs. Bennett?" "That she was holding him back, that she didn't contribute." "You told Mrs. Bennett she should go back to the hood. Why did you assume she came from the hood?" "I didn't. That's not what I meant. You said wrong color, wrong class, wrong everything. What did you mean by wrong color?" "I wasn't talking about race." "Then what were you talking about?" Natalie's face flushed. She couldn't answer, contradicted herself, got defensive, angry. The jury saw everything. Closing arguments took 2 hours. The jury deliberated for 3. They returned with a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Defamation, $3 million. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, $2 million. Civil rights violation, $5 million. Punitive damages, $8 million. Total, $18 million. Natalie collapsed in her chair, sobbing. Judge Morrison spoke. Her voice carried authority. This case represents a clear example of racial animus displayed publicly and without remorse. The defendant's actions were calculated to humiliate based on race and perceived economic status. She looked at Natalie. While the plaintiff doesn't need this money, the award sends a message. Such behavior has real consequences. She banged her gavel. 2 weeks later, Gregory's divorce hearing. The judge reviewed the evidence, the affair, the $47,000 spent on Natalie, Gregory's statements at the country club. This is a fault-based divorce. Mr. Hayes, you committed adultery. You misappropriated marital funds. You publicly humiliated your wife. Gregory stared at his hands. The court awards Mrs. Bennett full marital assets. Mr. Hayes receives nothing. Additionally, Mr. Hayes will pay $250,000 in restitution. He will pay all court costs and attorney fees totaling $800,000. The gavel fell. Gregory left the courthouse with nothing. Natalie declared bankruptcy 3 months later. She couldn't pay the judgment. Would never be able to. She worked retail now. Minimum wage. Living with her sister. Her name was Toxic. Her face recognizable. The criminal trial came next. She pleaded guilty to avoid prison. 200 hours community service, 3 years probation, mandatory bias education courses, permanent record for hate crime. The consequences were real, permanent, inescapable. Justice had been served. 1 year later, Tessa stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of her office. Bennett Global Technologies stretched 53 floors below her. The city sparkled in morning sunlight. Her title had changed. VP of Social Impact, a role she'd created herself. The Dignity Initiative had grown beyond anything she'd imagined. $500 million deployed, 2,000 cases funded. Legal representation for people who'd faced discrimination but couldn't afford to fight back. A single mother fired for her accent. A veteran denied housing because of his race. A student expelled after reporting harassment. All of them now had attorneys, investigators, resources. 12 cases had already won. Settlements totaling $43 million. But more importantly, policy changes. Company reforms. Public accountability. Her assistant knocked. Ms. Bennett, Sarah Williams is here. Send her in. Sarah entered, recorder in hand. They sat by the window. 1 year later, Sarah said. How does it feel? Tessa considered. Different. I spent 6 years hiding who I was. Now I'm using it to help others. What about Gregory and Natalie? Gregory works construction in another state, trying to rebuild. Natalie is working retail, still paying debts. Do you regret how hard you came down? No. Tessa's voice was firm. They didn't just hurt me. They revealed something ugly. The consequences were proportional. Some say you used your wealth as a weapon. I used my wealth as a shield. There's a difference. Tessa leaned forward. Every day black women face what I faced, but they don't have billions to protect them. They lose jobs, homes, dignity, and no one cares. She paused. What happened at that country club wasn't unique. It was just filmed. The real injustice is how many times it happens without cameras, without consequences. Is that why you created the Dignity Initiative? Exactly. Justice shouldn't require a trust fund. Sarah nodded. I heard you're engaged. Tessa smiled. His name is David. He runs a nonprofit providing legal aid. We met through the Dignity Initiative. Did he know who you were? from day one, and he loved me anyway. Her smile widened. Turns out when you're honest from the start, you attract honest people. Any message for people watching? Tessa looked directly at the camera.
If you've witnessed discrimination, speak up, record it, report it, be the witness someone needs.
Her voice grew stronger.
If you've experienced it, know that you deserve dignity regardless of your bank account. Resources exist now. Organizations like the Dignity Initiative. We're here.
She paused.
And if you think you can treat people as less than because of their race or background, understand this. Consequences are coming. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they're coming. That day at the country club, I chose power over anger. Not the power of money, but the power of dignity. Quiet dignity isn't weakness, it's strength. It's choosing your moment, and when that moment comes, striking with precision. Sarah turned off her camera. That was perfect. After Sarah left, Tessa returned to the window. Her phone buzzed. A text from David. "Dinner tonight? My place. I'm cooking." She smiled. Typed back, "Perfect. I'll bring wine." Below, the city moved. City, millions of people living their lives. Some facing injustice, some fighting back. She couldn't save everyone, but she could help. Her desk held folders, new applications, each one a story, each one a person who deserved justice. She sat down, opened the first folder, got to work. Because quiet dignity wasn't about staying quiet forever. It was about choosing when to roar. If this story moved you, share it. Not for the drama, but for the message. Comment below. Have you ever witnessed someone judge another person based on assumptions? What did you do? Follow for more stories where justice prevails. Support organizations fighting discrimination. Donate, volunteer, speak up. The next person facing discrimination might not have billions to fight back, but with enough of us standing together, they won't need them. Remember, quiet dignity is not weakness. It's power waiting for the right moment. What would you do if you discovered that someone you loved only valued you for what they thought you didn't have? Would you walk away quietly? Or would you make sure they understood exactly what they lost? Share your answer below. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of justice and resilience. Hit that notification bell. The next story drops in 3 days. You won't want to miss it.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.